Today we're going to talk about pine tarring wooden skis. Here's some of the materials that you might need. Here's a can of Swix pine tar sold today. You can also use technical pine tar, which is available at various scientific places, and equestrian pine tar, which is used to coat the hooves of horses. Turpentine is used to thin the thicker pine tar. You'll need some sandpaper to rough up the base. 3M Grit 100 works really well. And here's a sandpaper block. Some people like to use a torch. We'll show you how to use that shortly. First thing you want to do to prepare the base, take your sandpaper block and rough up the base. And the purpose of this is to open up the pores of wood so that the pine tar can get impregnated into the base. After sanding, you'll need to remove the residue. Here you can see that we're getting the groove as well. Take a cloth and brush away all the dust. Applying the pine tar. In this case, I'm using an applicator. I've used the thicker pine tar and have thinned it with turpentine. You don't want to put a real thick coat on, just a real thin coat to soak into the wood. We're going to cover the whole length of the ski, keeping it thin. I do a lot of pine tarring, so that's why I have an applicator here like this. The next step after we have our pine tar applied is to impregnate it into the base. The old-fashioned way that many people used back in the 70s and before that was to use a torch, and as you can see here, the pine tar flames up once in a while, and this is the solvent actually catching on fire. So you'll need to have a well ventilated area. Probably should have a fire extinguisher close by. You have to be real careful not to get too close to the base. You might burn the wood. This is the old-fashioned way to pine tar. Many people still do it this way. The purpose is to heat the pine tar into the wood so that it soaks into the wood. Another method to apply pine tar, or to actually soak it into the wood, is to use an industrial strength heat gun. Here you can see I'm using a Milwaukee heat gun, and you want the pine tar to just slightly bubble. That shows that it's heated hot enough to get into the wood. This method takes quite a bit longer than the torch method because the heat is somewhat less. And the last method in heating pine tar is to actually preheat it on a hot plate, and as long as the pine tar is hot, it'll soak into the wood. Once you have the pine tar heated in, you need to remove the excess. I use an old rag to do that. The base of the ski is still warm at this point. Once you've removed all the excess pine tar, a finishing touch is you can use an old cork to really press it in and heat it thoroughly and kind of smooth out what's left. You do need to let the ski sit overnight before you actually apply the wax. That's it. Remember to visit our website at woodenskis.com.